Hi, welcome to day 5 of Writing Main course. In today's class, we are going to discuss another essay type, which is discuss effects and suggest some solutions. So in this type of essays, you will be given a topic related to a kind of problem, and you will not be asked about the reasons behind that problem, but you would be asked about what are going to be the after effects of that situation, and also you will be asked to write some measures so that that problem can be reduced or minimized or handled. So what is the structure that we are going to follow is you're going to write four paragraphs. One is the introduction, where you will be writing your topic and the thesis. Paragraph 2 will discuss about the effects, that is the first aspect of your essay, and body para 2 will talk about the solutions, and then you will be concluding it. And as you can read from the prompt, they're asking you for effects and solutions. So they're writing plural words for you. So it should be understood that there will be a requirement of at least two ideas in each paragraph. If we see about the content of these paragraphs, as I just told you, the introduction para will have only two main things. One is the topic and second is the thesis statement. By thesis statement, I mean that you should be giving a reference line to the effects and to the solutions. Then in the body para 1, two effects are going to be written and two solutions will go in body para 2. Conclusion will not contain any new main idea, but it would just wrap up the main ideas of BP1 and BP2. Then, if we think about the connectors that we are going to use, be very careful while using your connectors because connectors help you to score high on your coherence part, right? For the introduction, you don't need to start with any kind of connector, but for the body para one, because you're starting with the first aspect, you may use the connector to start with. Then for the body para 2, as we are moving further to the solutions of the same situation, so the most suitable connector can be moving further, and keeping the conclusion simple, you can use a connector to conclude. Please take note of these connectors so that you are well versed with them and you can use them very easily. After that, if we think about number of ideas that are required, as I just mentioned, two ideas in each body para, which means in body para 1, you should be thinking of two effects of this situation, and in body para 2, you should be thinking of two solutions of the same situation. The solutions should match to these effects, means that your solution should be solving these effects also as well as the problem. Now, let's see how to organize each para. The introduction para will start with the topic itself. You are going to paraphrase the topic. Then you have to write a thesis line for effects, which can be it may give birth to two serious problems, or simply it may give birth to serious problems, right? So you simply have to say, uh, you don't have to write the effects, you just have to mention that it may give birth to serious problems. However, the situation can be improved. You may say the situation can be improved by government and individuals, or by schools and parents. So whatsoever name you want to write in these blanks, that is going to be the solution provider of your problem. So you can write these lines as it is in your task. How are you going to write? It may give birth to serious problems. However, the situation can be improved. If in case you are not able to think who is going to provide the solution, don't write this line by dash and dash. Simply stop after saying it can be improved, comma, as discussed further. Then, for the next paragraph, you're going to structure your paragraph saying, to start with, this may lead to several issues, but two are main. So you have to tell your examiner that there can be several effects, but only two are major. First of all is your idea connector. It helps you to score high on your coherence. Then you have to write the full statement of the first effect. After writing the complete sentence, put a connector for explanation to explain, and explain this point in 2-3 sentences. After that, you are going to add an example, and then for that you have to put a connector to exemplify and provide an example. If in case you do not know the example of the first idea, skip this part over here. Then apart from this is the idea connector for the second idea. After using this connector, you are going to write the statement of the second effect and explain it. In case you have not written example of the first idea, you have to write the example of the second idea next to the explanation of the second idea. Then moving to the third para, that is your body paragraph number 2. First of all, you are going to use your para connector. Moving further, it is high time to find ways to handle this. This line shows that this paragraph has solutions in it. You are finding ways to handle the situation. Then the idea connector, first and foremost, state your first solution. Use an explanation connector, like in other words, explain it, then provide an example using a connector such as. Not only this, second solution would come here, that would be explained by you by after using an explanation connector such as that is to say. So you can note from this slide that we are using idea connectors first and foremost. Not only this, we are also using explanation connectors, in other words, that is to say. We're also using example connectors such as. All these words are going to help you to make a flow in your discussion of the ideas. So make sure that you are completely aware of their usage, where to place these connectors, what is their formation and spelling. Be very careful, and after every connector, be careful that you have to use a comma. Right? Then for the next paragraph, you're going to draw a conclusion. You have to say to conclude, mention the topic situation here, that it is a matter of serious concern. Then it is advised to implement the suggested measures before the situation gets exacerbated. Exacerbated means before the situation gets worse. It's already a bad situation, but since they had asked you about the effects, so it means that you are advising them to let it not go to the further extent, let it not go worse from bad. So that's why we have used the word exacerbated. Now let's use this structure and these connectors in order to answer a particular sample question. The question is, there is high rate of utilization of natural resources such as drinking water, oil and forests. And they have asked you what are the effects and suggest some ways to handle this problem. Now, as soon as you read this prompt, you know that it's effects and solution essay. I need to write 4 paragraphs. Then after that, you need to read your topic, that I need to talk about drinking water, oil and forests. That these are getting utilized at a very high rate. So let's see. First of all, we'll write the introduction. See how I have paraphrased the topic. The usage of natural resources such as potable water, which is drinkable water, oil and woodlands is too high. Here too means negatively high, excessively high, unduly high. It may further give birth to issues, or you may write those issues like severe crisis and environmental degradation. However, the solutions lie with governments and masses, which are discussed further. So I have given 2 lines. It may give birth to dash and dash. However, the solutions lie with dash and dash, which are discussed further. So all you have to think is what are going to be the 2 effects, and who are the 2 groups who are going to solve this situation or handle this situation. So this is all about the introduction. In body para 1, we will start saying, to start with, the negative repercussions of huge consumption cannot be ignored. Or you may write, there are severe or several problems that can arise, but 2 are main. First of all, it may lead to energy and water crisis. So don't forget that we were talking about oil and water both, right? So we are going to take both of these examples in a single context. It may lead to energy and water crisis. Now I'm going to explain this. To explain, day by day, with ever growing population, the demand of fossil fuel based and coal based energy is burgeoning. We know that the energy needs are rising. Burgeoning means rising. As a result, the over exploitation of oil reserves and forest area surpasses their replenishment. Their replenishment is slower, but their usage is higher. Consequently, Consequently is always used as a connector in order to develop the idea further in a negative way. So consequently, future economies can come to a standstill. What we mean by come to a standstill? That these would not grow fast. These would grow at a very slow pace. So economies can come to a standstill due to shortage of electricity. Similarly, lack of pure water, which is the essential need for all animals and human beings, will create serious survival problems. After that, I'm going to give an example. In India, for instance, future energy crisis is already evident from long power cuts due to shortage of coal. We know that in states like Punjab, we are getting long power cuts because they always state that there is shortage of coal in the thermal plants. So we can say that future is already being seen from such crisis. After that, we are going to give an example of water also. Many states even struggle to get adequate amount of clean water. Now, we have talked about the oil and we have also talked about the water here. Now, let's move to the second effect. Not only this, lack of forests and clean water will impact ecosystems. Now, we are going to talk about the environment part. That if there are no forests, if there is no clean water, then the ecosystems would be impacted. Now, you're going to elaborate this. To elaborate, natural woods act as lungs of the earth and drinkable water is vital for survival. If any of these get lost, along with heavy combustion of fossil fuels, pollution rate will of course increase. Also, many vulnerable species will die out. Die out means they would go extinct due to unavailability of water. As a consequence, it will take a toll on quality of air and biodiversity. Take a toll means it would put a negative impact. So you can make a note of all the good words that you find over here, like phrases take a toll, or is already evident, or come to a standstill. Use the words like replenishment, biodiversity. You can pick up all these words for your vocabulary part and also kindly read this slide number of times so that you know how the ideas are getting further developed. Every sentence is giving a new information to the reader. After explaining the effects, let's come to the solutions. Moving further, it is high time to handle the situation. First and foremost, we remember we told in the introduction that government and masses would do something. So first we are going to talk about government and then we are going to talk about the masses. So first and foremost, government should discourage the consumption by raising prices of these commodities. In other words, taxation policies can be revised. With higher market prices of oil, coal based energy, timber, and potable water, many masses will reduce the undue usage of these. We know that if petrol becomes expensive, water becomes expensive, energy becomes expensive, we will start saving these things. We will stop wasting these things. So government should just put a tax on all these things. That's what the idea we are talking about. This will shift consumers to alternative resources such as wind energy, water energy, and solar energy instead of oil based or coal based energy. Even plastic can be used rather than wood for furniture. So remember, I'm not forgetting about the forest. I'm also giving examples of wood along with the energy or along with the coal or along with the oil. Then the second solution would come from the people. Apart from this, the wastage needs to be minimized through awareness. That is to say, public must get aware that abundance of these natural gifts should no more be taken for granted. Taking for granted means we are not understanding the value of these things. So people need to understand these are not going to be taken for granted. They must keep a check of avoidable consumption. Keep a check means they need to reduce it. People need to be sensitized. Sensitized means to be aware. They should be made aware about importance of not letting the taps run while brushing teeth, washing cars with help of bucket rather than pipe or hose, switching off appliances when not in use, and avoiding fuel run vehicles for short distance. So all these things are examples here, right? Altogether, these efforts can bring down the overconsumption of natural resources. So all these things would reduce the consumption. So I have tried to give examples along with the development of the idea itself. How did I give the examples? I have used semicolons over here. Not let the taps run while brushing teeth. wash cars with help of bucket rather than hose pipe, switch off appliances. So all these are examples of what things should people be made aware about, right? Then after that, we are going to conclude this essay. To conclude, as per the above discussion, quickly depleting natural resources. This was the topic situation, right? That the rate of consumption is high. So that means that natural resources are depleting very quickly. Quickly depleting natural resources is a severe issue, but if the suggested measures are implemented timely, you have suggested the measures in the body para 2, right? So you're telling, but if the suggested measures are implemented timely, the situation can be kept under control. Keeping under control means you're not letting it increase. So the situation can be kept under control. I hope that you get all the necessary vocabulary, the ideas, connectors, as well as you understand the structure that is going to be used in effects and solutions essay. See you in the next class. Thank you.